Suburban roadway, early evening. The last of the sun fades behind tall trees lining a quiet two-lane road. A late-model black sedan crawls to a stop on the shoulder, hazard lights blinking. The vehicle is spotless, windows slightly tinted, engine still humming. Inside, Jalen, a 17-year-old black teen in a slim gray hoodie and collared shirt, sits calmly behind the wheel. His hands rest firmly on the steering wheel in the 10 and 2 position. His breathing is steady, but controlled. Eyes forward, no sudden moves. Behind him, the red and blue glow of a police cruiser flashes rhythmically. A white officer, mid-40s, stocky, steps out slowly, adjusting his belt, then slams the door harder than necessary. No siren, no reason, just presence. The officer's name tag reads S. Keller. His face is flat, not hostile, not yet, but ready to dominate. He walks up to the driver's side with slow, measured steps. Jalen lowers the window. Jalen. Good evening, officer. Officer Keller. Mock surprise. Evening, huh? Got some manners. That's new. Pause. Keller. License. Registration. Jalen. May I ask what I was stopped for, sir? Keller. Leans in, voice low. You got a smart mouth? Or you got something to hide? Beat. Jalen nods slightly. Calm. Trained. Jalen. No, sir. I'd just like to know. The officer stares at him a second longer than necessary, then backs off slightly. Keller. License. Registration. Now. Inside Jalen's car. Jalen reaches slowly toward the glove box. His fingers hesitate a moment, just long enough to remind himself that this, right here, is the moment it usually goes wrong. He opens it, hands the documents over. Side of the road. Keller snatches the paperwork without thanks. He doesn't even look at it before turning his gaze back inside the car. Keller. You from around here? Jalen. Yes, sir. I live 2 miles north. Keller. Sure you do. He walks around the vehicle slowly, peering in each window, dragging his fingers across the trunk like he's looking for an excuse to search. Jalen's head. You're trained for this. You know the script. Stay calm. Hands visible. Eyes forward. No jokes. No questions. Road shoulder. The patrol car's dashcam blinks faintly. From across the street, a middle-aged couple watches from their front lawn. The woman holds a watering can. The man has his arms folded. Neither moves. Jalen watches the rearview mirror. Keller returns, holding the ID. Keller. So, Mr. Taylor, what do you do? Driving your daddy's car. Jalen. It's mine, sir. Keller. Chuckles dryly. What are you, a part-time rapper? Or are you selling something out the trunk I should know about? That hits harder than the tone. But Jalen's face remains stone. Jalen. I'm a student. Senior year. Keller. At what? Street University. Jalen doesn't flinch. Jalen. Lincoln Prep. Full scholarship. That gives Keller pause just for a beat. Then the mask returns. Keller. Of course you are. Gonna be a lawyer, right? Leans in closer. Or maybe you already know how to work the system. Neighborhood corner. Same time. A young woman across the street begins filming with her phone. Her camera is shaky, but focused on the exchange. Inside the sedan, Jalen glances at his reflection in the side mirror. His jaw tightens, but he stays still. Back to the stop. Keller taps on the roof of the car twice. Keller. Step out for me. Jalen. Am I being detained? Keller. You think you're clever, huh? He gestures toward his belt, not drawing his weapon, but letting the hand rest there. Keller. Step. Now. Street. The camera lingers from a high angle. 2 silhouettes. One standing, one seated, headlights casting long shadows across the pavement. One holds a badge. The other hasn't shown his yet. But he will. And everything will change. Roadside. Continuous. Jalen steps out of the car, slow and deliberate. His hoodie rustles slightly in the breeze. Both hands remain visible, fingers slightly spread, palms forward. He's done nothing wrong, but he knows that means nothing. Officer Keller circles him like prey, posture rigid, boots crunching against gravel. The flashing lights still pulse behind them, a silent metronome counting down toward escalation. Keller. Turn around. Hands on the hood. Jalen complies without a word. Keller, spread your legs. He does. The officer begins to pat him down, rougher than necessary, slaps his pockets, tugs at his waistband, grabs the back of his hoodie and yanks it up, exposing the teen's lower back. Keller, you carrying something? Huh? Got any powders, pills, maybe a little grass for your after-school activities? Jalen, no, sir. His voice is flat, almost detached, but it's not fear, it's focus. Jalen is memorizing every second. Across the street, a neighbor records. A young Latina woman in her 20s holds up her phone. She whispers into the camera. He didn't even do anything. This cop's out of line. From a porch nearby, an older man stands, arms folded, watching silently. Street, back to the PAT down. Keller chuckles. Keller, let me guess. Honor student, right? No answer. Keller, mom's a nurse. Dad's not around. You know how I know? He spins Jalen around to face him. Keller, because I've seen you before. Not you exactly, but you. Beat. Jalen doesn't break eye contact. His voice is even. Jalen, you don't know me. Keller, you're right, but I know your type. Flash cut. Jalen's internal POV. Brief flashes of memories flood in. His mother teaching him how to respond to police. Don't talk back. Don't run. Don't argue. A younger Jalen in front of the mirror, rehearsing. Officer, I would like to comply. Street, back to present. Keller leans in, smirking. Keller, bet your friends call you professor or something. You talk so proper it's almost cute. Another beat, then a cruel grin. Keller, what are you? Some kind of baby lawyer? Jalen, quietly, I know my rights. That triggers it. Keller, oh, do you now? Cuffed 1,000 like you. Everyone thinks they're the exception. What makes you so special? Silence. Then Jalen speaks, not louder, just sharper. Jalen, I don't need to be special to deserve respect. Keller's nostrils flare. Keller, turn around. You're not going anywhere yet. Squad car. A second officer approaches. Another white officer, younger, uncertain, walks toward them. Second officer. Everything good, Sergeant? Keller doesn't answer at first. Keller, just another future felon who thinks he's better than the law. Second officer. Quietly. He got ID? Keller. Yeah, but something about him stinks. I'm gonna run him again. He walks back toward the squad car. Jalen left standing. He exhales, eyes briefly closing. A voice calls from the sidewalk. Woman with phone. I got all this on video. You're harassing him. Keller turns toward her, annoyed, but doesn't engage. Jalen finally speaks. More to himself than to anyone. You said don't lose your temper. You said be still. You said let them be loud. He places one hand on his chest. Slowly, purposefully. Inside his hoodie, POV shot. Fingers brush past a thin black wallet. Inside something metal. Street. Suspense builds. Keller returns, visibly agitated. Keller, funny. You don't even show up in the system the way I expected. Jalen, calmly. I'd like to show you something. Keller narrows his eyes. Is that a threat? No, Jalen replies. But it will change how you speak to me. He reaches into his inner jacket. Keller stiffens, hand flying to his holster. Jalen, I advise you not to draw that weapon, Sergeant. Silence. A small leather badge case appears. Jalen opens it slowly. The gold shines in the fading light. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Criminal Investigations Division Federal Intern Clearance. Entire scene. Frozen moment. Keller's face falls. The second officer blinks. Stunned. From the sidewalk, gasps. The young woman filming drops her voice. Oh my God. He's FBI. Road shoulder moments after. Silence. The only sound is the distant hum of passing traffic and the mechanical buzz of the police cruiser's lights still rotating in rhythm. Officer Keller stands frozen, eyes locked on the badge in Jalen's hand. Not just any badge, federal issue. Sharp-edged and gleaming, tucked inside a black leather case with embossed gold lettering. FBI, Criminal Investigations, Federal Clearance. Keller's pupils narrow. The tension in his body shifts from dominance to panic. His hand slips quietly off his holster. Jalen. Even clear. You are currently detaining a federal intern operating under DOJ authority. Any further contact may result in internal review and obstruction charges. Beat. Keller blinks. Keller. You're what? Jalen. Criminal Investigations Division. I'm on record. Would you like me to contact my supervisor? He pulls a slim phone from his pocket. Not the one Keller assumed earlier, and taps it once. The screen lights up with a lock screen badge and initials. FBI Intern Portal. Authorized Clearance ID. JT 42-19C. Across the street, the crowd grows. Now there are more bystanders. Phones out. Filming. Whispering. He's FBI? The cop just backed off. You see that? He was ready to cuff that kid 5 seconds ago. Keller's mind. Internal chaos. He sees headlines. Internal affairs. Maybe even suspension. All because he stopped someone who looked suspicious. He clears his throat. Keller. You should have said something. Jalen. And you should have asked. Keller looks down. For the first time all night, no words. Just a man shrinking under the weight of accountability. Second officer approaches. The younger officer, who'd been silent till now, steps closer. He looks at Jalen, then at the badge. Second officer. That legit. Jalen. You can verify with Agent Carmichael at the Bureau's local office. Badge number's right there. He holds the badge calmly toward the younger cop. The officer nods, steps away, and radios in, voice low but audible. Dispatch. I need to confirm identity on a federal ID. Appears to be DOJ linked. Name Taylor, Jalen. Jalen. Still composed. He closes the badge slowly and slips it back into his jacket. Then turns, calmly, and leans against his own car. Jalen. Now, Sergeant Keller, I'd like you to explain the legal grounds for the stop. Your camera is rolling. So is mine. He gestures to a tiny clip-on mic beneath his collar. And there are 6 witnesses with phones. If there's a reason beyond driving while black, I'd love to hear it. Keller, exposed. The older officer is no longer the one asking questions. His voice falters. Keller. We had a description. Similar vehicle. Routine stop. Jalen. Cuts in. You didn't ask for ID before mocking my education, accusing me of drugs, and threatening force. You had no probable cause. You didn't inform me of the stop reason. You attempted a warrantless search. You touched your weapon because I spoke properly. Each sentence lands like a punch. Each fact is a brick in the wall he's building around Keller. Crowd reacts. Some clap. Others murmur, damn, or get him. The woman filming earlier whispers. He's schooling him. New vehicle arrives. Unmarked SUV. A black SUV pulls up silently. The doors open. A tall black man in a dark blue FBI jacket steps out. Agent Carmichael. He nods to Jalen, then looks directly at Keller. Agent Carmichael. Sergeant Keller will take it from here. Keller stutters. Keller. He didn't identify. He. Agent Carmichael. He didn't have to. But you should have known better. Carmichael glances at Jalen. You all right? Jalen. I stayed calm. Carmichael nods with subtle pride. Final shots. Public humiliation. Keller steps away. The crowd is watching now, not a cop, but a man being publicly corrected. The younger officer mutters to him, let's just go. Phones still record. Jalen gets back in his car. He closes the door quietly, takes a breath, then smiles, just slightly, not because he won, but because he didn't lose himself. Roadside, moments later, the shift is unmistakable. A moment ago, Jalen stood in front of his own car, hands up, under suspicion, under pressure. Now he stands tall, calm, badge back in pocket, dignity fully intact. And Sergeant Keller? He's been silenced, not by shouting but by accountability. Across the street, phones are still filming. Whispers ripple through the watching crowd. That's the kid the cop tried to humiliate? He's FBI? He handled that like a pro. SUV Agent Carmichael speaks quietly with Keller. Agent Carmichael, tall, composed, eyes narrowed, walks a tight circle around Keller. Every word measured. Deliberate. Carmichael. You escalated a lawful stop into a rights violation. You ignored identification protocols. You mocked a civilian, a federal intern with clear racial bias. And you almost drew a weapon on him. You know what that's called, Sergeant? Keller. Voice low. Misconduct. Carmichael. That's the polite version. A pause. Carmichael looks over his shoulder at the filming crowd. But the public? They'll just call it what it is. Racism. Keller shifts his weight uncomfortably. The second officer stands awkwardly by, pretending to scan paperwork. Jalen walks toward them. Jalen approaches with quiet, precise steps. His face is still not smug, not gloating. Just unshaken. Jalen. Agent Carmichael. I've filed 3 written reports this week on training scenarios. None of them prepared me for this. Carmichael raises an eyebrow. Carmichael. Because this wasn't a scenario. It was real. Jalen nods. I stayed professional. I followed every step. I didn't flash the badge until it was the only thing standing between me and someone else's assumptions. Carmichael looks to Keller. And he still didn't listen. That's the part that worries me. Police radio crackles. The younger officer receives a quiet call. He walks over to Keller. Younger officer. Dispatch confirms his ID. And, Captain's on the line. He wants to speak with you. Now. Keller swallows. His lips part like he wants to defend himself. But no words come. He takes the radio, walks away a few steps, turns his back. Crowds now gathering. Local residents start arriving, drawn by flashing lights and whispers of what happened. Some film. Others simply stare. In the distance, a news van appears. Jalen and Carmichael. Jalen. I knew this internship would teach me something. Carmichael. Yeah? What's the lesson so far? Jalen. Softly. That badges don't always mean justice. Sometimes you have to bring your own. That lands hard. Carmichael places a hand on his shoulder. Carmichael. You handled this better than some agents twice your age. But you shouldn't have had to. Keller returns shaken. His face is pale now. Tight. Keller. I've been asked to leave the scene. Internal will follow up. He doesn't make eye contact. Jalen. You don't need to speak to me. Keller's mouth twitches as if trying to decide whether to argue or apologize. He chooses neither. He turns and walks back toward his cruiser, the weight of every phone lens pressing down on his back. SUV Carmichael to Jalen. Carmichael. You ready to head out? Jalen hesitates. Looks around. Then speaks not loud but clear. Jalen. Actually, I want to file the incident report myself. Full statement. On record. Carmichael. Nods. You earned that. They move toward the SUV together. Last look at Keller. He sits in the front seat of his cruiser. Hands clenched on the wheel. The lights are off now. No sirens. No more control. Jalen's car, a civilian again. Jalen opens his own car door. Pauses. Looks at the reflection in the glass. Not the scared kid from earlier. Not just a student. A young man who didn't let the system break him and who exposed everything wrong with it. Living room, late night. The TV screen flickers softly in a modest, warm living room. On the screen, a paused YouTube video. Thumbnail shows Jalen standing calm beside his car, badge in hand, Sergeant Keller blurred in the background. Over 4.2 million views. Title, teen pulled over for no reason, then shows cop his FBI badge. Jalen's mother, a black woman in her late 40s wearing scrubs from a long shift, sits on the edge of the couch, eyes red, but not from exhaustion. From pride. And pain. Jalen, VO. I didn't expect the world to see it. I just wanted to stay alive. Newsroom, early morning. Footage of the traffic stop plays on national television. Anchor, TV. And the teen, now confirmed as an FBI intern, remained calm as the officer escalated. Civil rights groups are calling this a textbook case of racial profiling. Clips cut in. ACLU lawyer shaking his head, he followed every rule. That officer followed none. Youth activists speaking at rallies, Jalen didn't just survive, he exposed a system. High school hallway same day. Jalen walks through his school hallway. Students glance up from their lockers. Some nod. Some whisper. A poster on the wall reads, Know Your Rights, Student Safety Week. Someone has taped a printed out still from the video under it. In Sharpie, he's one of us. Police department, press room. A wall of reporters. Flashes. Cameras. The police chief, a white man in his 60s, stands stiffly behind a podium. Police chief. Sergeant Keller has been placed on administrative leave pending a full internal investigation. The department does not condone discriminatory conduct and we are reviewing protocols for all traffic stops. A reporter cuts in. Reporter. Will Sergeant Keller be facing criminal charges? Chief. That will be up to the district attorney's office. He clears his throat, avoids eye contact. The room murmurs. City Hall, rally, night. Hundreds gather. Young, old, all races. Signs. Driving while black is not equal to probable cause. Badges don't excuse bias. Respect is not earned, it's due. A young black woman steps to a mic. We're not just here for Jalen. We're here because we've all been Jalen. The difference is, this time, the world watched. Jalen's room, late night. Jalen sits alone at his desk, badge on the table beside him. He's scrolling through comments. You kept your cool. That was powerful. They judged your skin, not your skills. You shouldn't have needed a badge to be treated like a human. He exhales deeply. Not with relief, with weight. He opens a notebook and starts writing. Statement for public testimony, DOJ Oversight Committee. DOJ building, days later. A massive federal hearing. Jalen sits at a microphone, suit pressed, back straight. Lawmakers and civil rights leaders watch from a long table. Jalen, I wasn't pulled over for speeding. I wasn't pulled over for a broken light. I was pulled over because of what I look like. And I stayed calm not because I felt safe, but because I didn't know if I'd make it home otherwise. The room is still. That badge didn't save me. My composure did. But it shouldn't have to. One of the congresswomen, Latina, nods slowly, visibly moved. Newsroom follow-up coverage. Anchor. The Department of Justice has opened a civil rights review of Keller's department following testimony from intern Jalen Taylor, whose viral video has sparked renewed national conversations. Clips of new federal guidelines flash on screen. Keller's home, later. Keller stands behind drawn curtains, watching news footage of himself on screen. He looks smaller. Not just disgraced, exposed. He sits heavily in a chair, alone, silent. School gym, assembly. Jalen stands on a stage. Not performing. Speaking. No one should have to flash a badge to feel safe. No one should be more polite than the person with a gun. But we're here to change that. Thunderous applause. Not for a viral video, but for a voice that didn't shake even when everything else did. Community Park Day. The sun casts warm, golden light across a vibrant city park. Children play. Families picnic. In the distance, a freshly painted mural towers over the playground wall. It's a portrait. Jalen, standing tall in his gray hoodie, one hand visible on a badge, the other raised not in defiance but in calm instruction. Behind him, the faint outline of a squad car and cell phones recording the moment. The mural is titled, Know Who You Are. A small plaque beneath it reads, dedicated to every young voice that refused to be silenced. School classroom, morning. Jalen stands in front of a group of younger students. Some shift awkwardly in their seats. Others stare with awe. Jalen, the badge didn't make me strong. I brought that strength with me. You don't need a title to know your worth. You just need to know your rights. A student raises his hand, nervously. Student. But what if someone doesn't listen? Jalen nods solemnly. Jalen, then you speak louder. Not with your voice, but with your example. DOJ panel room. Press clip. Footage rolls of a Justice Department panel unveiling a new federal training program. Bias response in community policing. In the audience, Jalen sits with Agent Carmichael, both in suits. Quiet, focused, impactful. Local news report, street interview. A white woman in her 60s speaks to a news crew. I watched that video 3 times. I kept thinking that could have been my grandson. And I'd never taught him what to do if someone judged him before he said a word. Small bookstore, signing table. Jalen signs a softcover copy of his new book, Calm Under Pressure. How I Turned a Traffic Stop into a Turning Point. He signs it, then looks up at the young black girl across the table. Maybe 13. Her eyes wide. Girl, I want to be like you. Jalen leans forward. Jalen, then start by being exactly who you are. Evening sidewalk, city street. Jalen and his mother walk side by side. Street lights flicker on above them. She carries a small grocery bag. He carries nothing, but shoulders the weight of quiet pride. Mother, you scared me that day. Jalen, me too. Pause. But I think maybe that fear helped make the story mean something. She smiles faintly, not fully but honestly. Mother, it did. They walk in silence for a few more steps. Then Jalen stops. Across the street, a young black boy, about 10, is being spoken to by an officer, his face nervous, his hands stuffed in his hoodie pockets. Jalen crosses the street. Street corner, continuous. Jalen, to the officer. Everything okay here? The officer, a new face, looks up, recognizes him immediately. His posture shifts, less dominant, More respectful. Officer. Just checking he wasn't lost. We're good. Jalen nods, then turns to the boy. Jalen. You okay? The boy nods, wide-eyed. Boy. You're the guy from the video. Jalen crouches to eye level. Jalen. Then you never have to be afraid to ask questions. And you never have to shrink to be safe. The boy nods again, firmer this time. Jalen offers a small fist bump. The boy takes it. Final wide shot. City at dusk. Jalen walks back to his mother. They continue down the sidewalk, the boy watching as they go. The street is calm, golden light reflecting off store windows. In the background, the mural of Jalen glows as if catching the last breath of sunlight. A quiet testament. He didn't ask to become a symbol, but now that he carries it with grace.